A project on YouTube features cyclists in Chicago sharing their experiences.
It's called Chicagoans Who Bike, and it aims to raise awareness about safety concerns and bust some misconceptions about bikers.
With bikers, I mean, that's why we have bells. I don't have a bell, so I use my voice. And I wouldn't, if I were to tell a driver, I would say, don't take it as anger coming from the biker. Take it as maybe frustration or them just being out of breath, and it comes off as angry. Their tone of voice might not be the best, but they're trying to do their best to make sure they're safe.
This launched about a year ago and features dozens of interviews. Joining us now is the creator, Victor Coves. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're a local Chicago person, live not far away from the stations. How did all this start?
Yeah, I mean, I've been biking the city for a very long time. I was biking in high school. And, you know, you always see cool people out on their bikes. There are times where you see a family that's really cute. You see just some cool people who are well-dressed. And I want to kind of tell their stories. I thought someone else might already be doing it. But I saw an opportunity, I just took it and started chatting with people. It's been a great, great year.
I didn't know there were biker stereotypes. What are they, and why do we need to dismiss them?
I mean, I think, you know, if people don't bike, I think there's a preconceived notion, frankly, that everyone who bikes looks like me. You know, they're a young guy in their 20s. And that's just not the case. You know, there's older people biking. There's high schoolers biking I saw on the way to Lane Tech over here. There's families. So I just try and show people that, you know, everyone who's getting around our city, there's someone who's biking and doing that. And that's kind of what I try and show people.
So this is kind of like that Humans of New York, where every person you meet has a story, right?
Absolutely.
So is that, let's talk about some of the people that you featured. Yeah, I think you talked to over 60 people for this,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
The first one is a high schooler that you profiled. Talk about him or her. I didn't hear who it was.
Yeah, so I try and keep names anonymous, so I'm going to try and stick with that. But yeah, he's a local high school student. I think actually goes to Lane Tech.
Okay.
And this photo was taken in Lincoln Square, if anyone recognizes Giddings Plaza. And he was just whip smart kid, talked about the importance of urban planning and really called out city officials for what he saw as a lack of infrastructure and safe streets, and how important he found it for his own mental health. You know, we talk about youth stress, and he talked about how it just really helps to get on his bike and have that independence of even if his parents are busy and they can't drive him, he can go to Hyde Park and go to a bookstore.
I see.
And it was just a beautiful, beautiful interview.
All right, let's put up a picture of our next biker.
Is this Bobby Berry?
Yes, Mr.
Oh, wait,
Bobby
I wasn't supposed
Berry.
to use names?
No,
He
that's
gave his
okay.
name.
He gave his name. It's
Okay.
on his jersey, so
Okay.
I think we can give an exception here.
Look at that.
Yeah, he is quite the gentleman. He is down on the south side. This is the Major Taylor Trail, and he's just really a fixture in his community. He lives right off the trail. He talked about sweeping up the trail with glass and just keeping it in good shape. He's part of the board that runs the trail, and he talked, it was really kind of a heartbreaking story about how his late wife got him into cycling. And we rescheduled the interview 3 times because she was in the hospital and then passed away. But he found it so important to tell his story and talk about how important biking was to him and to his health, too, and how much better shape he was in because he biked a lot as an older man.
Oh, and I think your the last one we're going to feature is a mom you talked to.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I don't know which, there we go. Yeah, this one, this is a great interviewee. She's in Lincoln Park. She's a really big bike advocate, has a younger son. She was waving in that photo to her son on the playground there. And she talked a lot about the importance of bike infrastructure, but also just civility that I think we need in the city, because there was someone who, she was avoiding a bike lane because it was flooded, and a driver got really upset with her and cussed her out in front of her kid who was on the back of their bike. So I think it really shows that even if you're with your kids, sometimes people just get really impatient and they get really upset. And I think that's something that I want to just show people, like, we're all just getting around. We're all just people. You know, if I'm in your way for a little bit, I'm not trying to be in your way. I'm not trying to inconvenience you. I want to get it out of there and get where I'm trying to go.
And bikers are going the extra mile to help alleviate the traffic that's all around the city.
Absolutely. You know, would you rather have 10 cars in front of you, or would you have 10 bikes who can fit in the room of 1 car?
Well, how is our bike lane situation? It seems like they're adding them all the time. Do we rank pretty well for bike friendly now, or no?
It's a little complicated. I think there's different people who use different metrics. I think we're adding a lot of bike infrastructure, which is great. It's still very disconnected and unfortunately very segregated. So here in this area on the northwest side, it's pretty good and there's more. But different parts of the city, there's more and less. But I think the real thing is we still have high speed limits, and there's some streets that there's a bike lane, but it's just paint, and cars are going really fast.
Yeah, we see this guy parked in the bike lane.
Yeah, and that's a huge issue too. Bike lane obstruction, where they're like, there's a bike lane, but then every Uber driver thinks that they can park in the bike lane, and then you're merging into main traffic, slowing people down who get upset with you. And unfortunately, there's been some really serious crashes where someone pulls out of the bike lane, gets hit, and it's just heartbreaking. And it's something I think the city could really do more to protect those bike lanes and also just enforce the law. You know, you're not supposed to be parked there. It's not parking.
Well, for more, you can check out Shywhobike.
Yes,
Shywhobike. Shywhobike.com and or is that on Instagram? Wait, say it please, because
Shywho.bike. So it's CHIWHO.BIKE, and if you put that in your browser, it'll work just fine, or find us on Instagram.
Gotcha. Maybe if I could just read it off the screen correctly, that would have helped. All right, Victor, nice to meet you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.